spot on an Azir ban in that final spot because that is what FlyQuest have tried to rely on in their last 2 series.
I like that. It's
Quad.
a map, a treasure map. Is that what the reference was? I liked it.
Quad has been really enjoying to play that Azir and trying to scale up. It is going to be that final ban. This is what I expected. I think FlyQuest have really leaned on him quite heavily, and they will have to adapt here this time around on the 3rd time of asking. Kai'Sa priority has been going up a little bit, but I don't think it's really a first pickable champion in this scenario. I like the Varus a lot more.
I like Varus. I like Rumble as well. And Rumble in this spot for Furia could also be something pretty powerful. If you pair it alongside a Sejuani, for example, there are quite a few things. The Pantheon being banned away alongside the Vi, these have been sort of the top ticket junglers so far here at EWC, but that is a very early cow as the Xin Zhao are going to be locked in alongside it. That is like a 1-2 punch here from Furia for controlling teamfights.
Really strong, robust front line here. Strong tanks, really great in mid-game teamfights around objectives. Once the Alistar hits level 6, so difficult to take down.
One day, Inspired is just going to lock it, you know? I feel like it's just, I just want it to be insta-locked. I know he spends a lot of time hovering, the Nidalee.
I wonder what sort of AD carry we're going to see out of IU here, though, with this Alistar, because you do budget a lot of your power, you know, away from that bottom 2v2, and you do lock an Alistar in this early, just simply because playing into the Varus, which is already a strong lane bully, your level 1 is very weak, so what kind of prio we're looking for is going to be interesting. Now, this Trundle pick here, you already have 2 pretty decent subjugate targets, so I like that a lot. Also pretty strong into both of these tanks because they don't have great ways to get out if they are pillared. You know, if they're going in, they find themselves trapped inside. It can be very frustrating.
The 1v1 matchup into Xin Zhao is also really good for Trundle.
Yeah.
The good old being able to chomp away their ability to fight back is just not very fair. And Toots, that's a Yasuo. That's locked in, Wolf.
Okay, well... that certainly is.
Maybe they were looking for his brother, and then like Yasuo came to the door, and he's like, "Nah, I'm sorry, he's not home." Unfortunately, it's like, do you want me to help you out?
I don't think
maybe that's what they did.
Necessarily a weak pick here, but we're gonna have to see what the rest of the draft is that they're gonna try to build around it, because this is not your traditional, you know, Yasuo Gragas or Yasuo Diana situation. I mean, it could still be a Gragas, of course, if that is left available and they want to go for that in the top lane, but it's a pretty unique look here from Furia. So
it's blind, Wolf. It's blowing my mind. Like, really?
It is quite unusual, but
they didn't have to do this.
They certainly did not. They could have just looked for an AD carry pick, which also makes me wonder, you know, what that is going to like. It's not like one of those games where you're going to see the Yasuo bottom lane that we've seen in years past. You know, we've seen some of those like Senna Yasuo lanes. We've seen some wild stuff. T1 has experimented with this as well, but the Rumble makes a lot of sense as a ban here for FlyQuest, who are probably still looking at this draft a little bit perplexed, but going, well, there's still some top tier stuff we can take off the board. You see the Scion, the Galio are both removed here. It makes a lot of sense in this draft, especially the power that you could have with the Galio in terms of global on the map. Final ban here might just be an AD carry ban if there's something they're concerned about with that Alistar, to make sure they have the pushing power with this Varus, but a lot of discussion around it. Will ultimately just be the Jace here, so still kind of keeping things a little bit of a mystery here in terms of what FlyQuest's plans are going to be.
The Jace is also a really weird one.
Because they already have Gwen banned, you know, like...
There's a lot of AD on the side of Furia already, right? And we're expecting... Like, I don't know whether Toots is going to be playing this. From what I can see, hasn't played it very much competitively in the past. So that is going to be heading elsewhere.
Yeah, it may.
And IU could just be playing this.
Yeah, maybe the bottom lane. Yeah, so I just don't.
I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good into Varus when you have this Alistar. Now, if they prepared it really well, if they practiced it, they scrimmed it a lot, it can catch you off guard because you're just not used to playing against a duo like this. But very unusual setup here is it looks like we might see a Renekton to come up here into the top lane, and then we'll find out what that counter pick is going to be here for Quad.
Yeah, and IU did play it at MSI, so it does make some sense that the Yasuo would be going to the bottom side.
It's again, just because you've played and just because it has been viable in the past doesn't necessarily mean it works here.
And also, viable is a question mark word there as well, Wolf, because it didn't win.
I thought maybe we'd see FlyQuest just go for a Rise pick here to give them a little bit more global power for sides and insane wave clear, extra damage, but they're going to go a completely different route here and go for the Syndra. You and I have been pretty critical of the Syndra that we saw already in this tournament. We're not a big fan of the champ right now in terms of what it does in team fights, but there's some cool new Syndra builds we've seen, and they're going to lock it in here. It's great setup. If you can pillar someone, you can guarantee they're going to get hit by Scatter, and then you can blow them up with the Syndra ultimate. So there's a lot of single target blow up in this draft for sure here on the side of FlyQuest. This bottom lane duo is a big question mark for me, though. You can block some of the Varus damage with the wind wall, I suppose.
But also, it's really good into Syndra. Like, we talk about the R button being the gameplay button. Well, Windwall means that there's more gameplay than just the sarcastic gameplay button that we talk about all the time.
I mean, it pairs well with the Orianna, it pairs decently well with the Alistar if you can hit a big knock-up with the Pulve. You know, there are ways to set up big ultimates in team fights, but the composition really just screams desperation to me, Atlas. You know, it's got strong parts, and they can, in certain niche scenarios, work together very well, but it's premedicated on a lot of map control. It's premedicated on not falling behind early. If anything goes wrong for Furia in the first 15 minutes of this game, they find themselves at a 2,000 gold deficit. I just feel like this draft becomes unplayable. So insane confidence, you know, insane risk-taking, your key on the line, your tournament life here at Esports World Cup, League of Legends 2025 on the line. They lock it in again. We saw it at MSI, as you mentioned, but I'm just not sold.
Yeah, I'm sort of not either. And I also think that there's going to be a lot of fun to be had for Inspired on this Trundle and for this Rakan as well. I mean, if Rakan loves anything, it is a whole bunch of champions all grouped up standing next to each other so they can all get charmed and in position for all of this AoE to come through. Scatter the Weeks could also be very, very dangerous. So I'm a little bit worried here for Furia, but if they start running away with this game, I mean, their composition is a meat grinder, even if it is a very up-close meat grinder.
I think it has to run away with the game, though, because they're playing Orianna, would set up some combos, and given, again, the right circumstances, do a decent amount of damage. But it's also more of a burst composition where the Orianna sets up a combo, you have the Yasuo, the Aatrox goes in, and you win the fight basically instantaneously, because if the fight is longer, it's going to be so much tougher to play out here into the composition of FlyQuest later on. And from a deficit, like I said, those opportunities, those combos you have to fish for become so challenging as everyone's super locked in here.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the Fury players, like, really doing the woosah, you know, like, making sure that everything is calm, they're ready, and looking confident here with this composition. I don't know whether that's how I feel going in, but we don't know. We don't know. And up against FlyQuest here, there is a chance to catch them off guard. That is the spirit of Best of Ones, right, Wolf? Like, Best of Ones, this is where you bring out the weird stuff, potentially cheesy stuff, try and take them down. And also going with comfort. Like, before MSI, this Yasuo bottom lane situation that they were running was undefeated. Wasn't exactly a large sample size, but I do like that.
Yeah, it's a risk for sure, and we'll see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, let's dive onto the Rift here. This is do or die for both of these squads, Furia or FlyQuest. Which one will be advancing to the knockout stage? As we are playing some cowbell as well. You love to see it.
The volatility of these drafts as well is something that's really exciting for a best of one. You know, if you are able to get those conditions right, if you are able to make a really strong early mid-game play, you know, around Grubs, around first, second Dragon, you can force a team fight and get this Yasuo composition accelerated. The Aatrox gets accelerated. I mean, you can just win with this wonky draft and be that underdog story that you want to be, and to take that win, to move through the knockout stage. And everybody could always use a little bit more cowbell.
Yeah. And I hope that we just stay here the whole time as we pan away immediately. It's a bit sad. Inspired is traditional Trundle, so still having the Pillar of Filth is absolutely fantastic.
Massive gold lead for Toots as well, by the way.
Oh, that's true. Oh my god, 5? That's infinity more than everyone else.
Ward Spotter.
Nuts. Okay, and Ayu as well has gone for the most edgy Yasuo skin. If you've ever played solo queue, you know this is the one.
He did go for the exhaust, which is unsurprising. Allows you to all in a lot better in a lane like this in the bottom lane. As we'll watch this top matchup, it is very critical that this Yasuo does not, or sorry, not the Yasuo, the Aatrox, excuse me, does not fall behind in this matchup. As man, playing Yasuo bottom lane, you kind of just have to pick your battles perfectly, look for your all-ins and your trades when you can, utilize your shield to last hit minions, because otherwise you're melee into range and you got an Alistar support. I mean, look at Masu and Busio just going, yeah, try to play the game. Good luck.
Yeah, this level 1 is not the most powerful in the game. You're absolutely right. As Bwipo with level 2, slicing and dicing and acting all cool, will be able to be followed up here by Guigo decently well. But doesn't hit level 3 yet, so doesn't have the Ruthless Predator. Can't show us that indeed the minions are not in as much danger as they were yesterday. As I find it crazy that Bwipo's played 2 games in a row of Renekton when he played only unique champions.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier. It was funny that that's the one that ends up being
it was like
the
13 in a row unique champions, which is like pretty nutty, all the way up until the Gragas. It was bookended by Gragas's, actually, with his last game in the LEC being a Gragas game.
So far, this mid matchup relatively even between these two. Stitz wants to look for an extended trade.
This is one of the oldest matchups ever.
Yeah.
The orb off in the mid lane.
When I think of these two champs, I think of my first year of the LCK, and I think of, BDD versus Showmaker.
Yeah.
As, okay, we are going to have a bit of a trade up here on the top lane. Bottom as well, the all-in.
Yep, there's the exhaust down onto Masu. He's trying to get himself out of there, and the last Steel Tempest not going to land. As I'm going to try and find a tornado, doesn't quite get it. It's not quite an all-in, but now going for even more as the grand exit come on through. And now Tatu, I mean, this is the most common gank that we've seen throughout this tournament. And Inspired is there to catch it this time around. Like ships in the night, they're just going to back away. That's not how the ships in the night thing works. That's when they walk past each other.
Yeah.
They saw each other and then they left.
I think the observers are showcasing here really well how aggressive all 3 lanes are right now, like how on a knife's edge and how volatile all these matchups are.
I only have 2 eyes though, Wolf. It's really hard to like focus on one thing in particular.
We're going to see that TP back in for both mid laners here, as that's going to be the end of that knife's edge battle that we are having, as Bwipo continues to have a slight advantage here on the top side. Do see Inspired wants to turn that into a larger advantage, though, here at level 4. Let's see how Gigo responds. Does, of course, have his flash.
Yeah, in comes Inspired. Doesn't quite get the fadeaway there, as Guigo does have that Q charged up. Flashes pretty late there, but Inspired holds onto the turret aggro, and that is a gorgeous dive for first blood onto Bwipo.
Yeah, just holding that aggro is all they needed to do. They have the setup, they've got the pillar, and down goes Gigo. So first blood over to FlyQuest here, and on the cross map, there's just simply nothing Tatu can do right now. He's still clearing that Gromp at the moment. Does have bot side prio, but really frustrating situation here for this early game for Furia, who find themselves nearly 1,000 gold behind. There's another all-in.
The flash pulve as they're layering the CC. Teleport to immediately come down, though, as Jojo, I don't think, got the memo that they were getting out of there, because Bwipo's coming in, and he really wants to stake. He's going to be able to pick it up. No more cowbell, at least for the next 10 seconds.
When you go for these types of plays, the reason I call them all-ins is, we saw the exhaust play previously, and then this one here, is there isn't really like a cancel button. There isn't really a, oh, well, we tried to trade here, but I guess we get out now. When you go in, you have to get the kill as soon as possible, and when teleport is available, as it was there for Bwipo with the advantage he had topside, you don't get out. You lose. You either have to get that kill, or you're going to pay with it with your life, and that's exactly what happened down there in the bottom side for Jojo. And so this is a really tough situation now as Masu goes topside uncontested. Gigo trying to catch that bottom wave. Look at Ayu going so late up here to the top side. Won't miss a ton of minions here, but still the tempo advantage is hugely flies.
Well, there's a headbutt pulve as the trample are going to come down as well, but the scat of the week was so good. There's the flash in from Tatu though, but he gets knocked up. Busio in perfect position. And there is the Unleashed power to lock down the kill for Inspired. Jojo just trying to get himself out of there, and he will be able to do so. Furia, they're clutching at straws, Wolf. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, this composition really cannot fall behind, but it is, and this is starting to feel worse and worse.
Well, another fight here towards the bottom side of the map as Bwipo now with 2 kills. after teleporting opportunely towards that bottom side, utilizing that as a lane swap as well. Oh man, not losing tempo and still being there for the counter gank was pretty ridiculous. And that means this Crocodile is so powerful.
Really is. You know, IU here, you could see looking for trades like this and just losing so massively at this point. I mean, look at the itemization. He's got a Hearthbound Axe versus just the Greaves, but it's the range advantage that Masu has where he's like, okay, nice try, but on your way out, you're going to lose a fourth of your health bar. As this looked like a really big opportunity here for the side of Furia, I think Quad, knowing that both his support and jungler are nearby, feels pretty comfortable to kind of push this and bait this. And he's looking for something, right? And then look at how well he plays this here. This double scatter, flashes away, buys a ton of time. Busio comes in here, gets the knock-up, and at that point it's over. He ults in, they get the kill, they get the Feat of Warfare, and it's just a sick play.
Where did the Shockwave go?
Yeah, it wasn't quite.
It was on cooldown. I'm really maybe it was used a little bit early, so a little bit unfortunate there for Toots, but that's fine. As we go down to 300, Whippo just gone. Oh my God, he just killed him. Okay. Well, that time he didn't hit a minion, Wolf.
Yeah, well,
I think he could have, and he may have still killed him though.
The news doesn't get any better, unfortunately.
Did you just see him in the play?
Yeah.
By the way? Oh, it was very good.
Well, when Whippo is locked in, man, he's got his head focused. He is leaned into the monitor.
Oh, that's true. He does have, like, pretty ultimate gamer position.
Yeah, you know the gamer position where you're on the couch, you're kind of sitting back, but then suddenly you're like, I'm really gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Whippo's always really gaming.
Yep.
That's why he's so good. He's got 3 kills in this game. He's got a cleaver online at 8 minutes. And I don't know what else I could tell you guys about how bad this is going to be for Gigo for the rest of this lane, as those plated steel caps are basically made of paper in this scenario. And now looking to fight for grubs here. Busio does have level 6. I mean, all summoners available here for the bot duo. This is a really big risk here for Furia.
It is.
This is trouble.
This is what their composition wants to do. The flash heal to come on through there, but he just gets eaten. Shockwave does come down, but doesn't do too much of anything at all as they knock up the cow. And Busio still looking for even more. They'll take Jojo on their way out, and my goodness, this is an absolute shellacking here.
And, you know, we knew from the outset as IO will survive, but has to use his flash. We knew from the outset that if this comp falls behind even slightly, like I said earlier on, it's impossible to play. And now at 9 minutes, the game is essentially over. And I hate to say it because this is an elimination match. This is Furia going home. This is the end of their tournament. They had a really risky draft, but they fell behind early. Super hard to execute on this composition. FlyQuest looked very ready for it. Masu and Busio handled the bottom lane all-ins masterfully, and Inspired has had an amazing game here, right? He's been everywhere he needs to be. He's absorbed that pressure. He and Busio both have really stopped every single angle that Furia have tried to find. And from behind in this scenario, like you said, your comp needs to fight early. It needs to get advantages, so they have to look for plays like this. They can't just simply give this up. But in the current game state, you just get cut to pieces if you're split, and Tuts is the victim of being split here in the mid lane. And there's just nothing Furia can do. At this point, if you're trying to say, aha, like Furia, this team has no idea what they're doing. If you're watching this at home, it's just not true, but the composition dysfunctionally can't really operate anymore. There aren't really great choices to make. At this point, you're really hoping for a big mistake from FlyQuest.
And honestly, you know, sometimes if you hope for these mistakes, they can happen. We saw even in our last best of one, the early game was in a fair bit of control by a CFO. But things can happen to bring it back around as Toots taking a big old trade here from Quad, who is feeling pretty good on this Syndra right now, really starting to hit their stride as the Blackfire Torch does come in as item number 1.
This is the new Syndra ability, Blackfire, Cosmic Drive, and we get the Blackfire this early. Yeah. You're happy to just chunk anyone you interact with out of a mid lane matchup, and in this case it's Toots, unfortunately, who got picked in that last fight, who is now going to be struggling to hold on. There's just get TP to come through here for the Rakan. This is going to be Drake Pryo on the lockdown here for FlyQuest. And even Busio spotting out where Tatu is here, just leaving nothing to chance, leaving nothing here to question. They have Bwipo with TP who could join this fight if it is a fight, if it is a contest. But frankly, I think Furia have no right to be anywhere near this dragon.
No, I don't think they're going to be fighting for this one. It's a very late dragon, actually. 11 minutes for first Drake of the game. I was looking at the top of the screen. I'm like, oh, it's a fancy new UI. I guess I can't see the dragons, but I couldn't see the dragons because they were not there.
They were not there.
That's why that was a thing. FlyQuest now going to be moving one away from collecting the feats of strength as well, as far as those objectives are concerned.
Look at where Bwipo has the lane. He's like, I'm the only person they could try to dive or make a play on because we're doing dragon on the bottom side, and I'm just going to hug turret and keep the wave right here so I can both farm and you can't kill me. Okay, they're baiting him a little bit, though.
He sliced and diced, he got himself in, but the Dominus is going to keep him so healthy. Let's see whether they can actually kill him. He just needs one more Q and he's going to get all that health back. There it is, as they should be able to take him down. There is the kill. That's a good flash from Guigo as he makes his way out, and Tatu didn't have the turret aggro, and so that is going to be a successful dive against Bwipo.
I feel like I gave Bwipo a lot of credit for how he had the wave there and how he was like, nah, I'm not going to allow it.
Immediately sliced
but I do almost feel like I still was right. Like I feel like Bwipo was just like, no, hold on, I'm so fed. I can actually bait them and Inspired will clean up. And he went for it anyways. And then he ultimately did pay for it with his life. But this is one kill. This is one bounce back. It goes over to Tatu on the Xinjiao. So it doesn't feel great. He finally has that first item online. But you need so much more than this. And, looking at where Inspired is on the map right now, he's heading up when Bwipo does decide to make that call. And so I think Bwipo is thinking like, okay, I've got my ult here. I'm going to have the empowered Q for the heal. I mean, look at the heal that comes through here. Bam.
Yeah.
And Inspired is almost here in time. I feel like it was an intentional choice by Bwipo, but they didn't quite have the distance, or Inspired wasn't quite there in time, I should say. The distance was too great.
Well, FlyQuest was thinking about killing the turret, but Guigo was being cheeky and tried to kill the minions, so they had to kill him. Quad takes a turret shot, but that is about all that went wrong there on the side of FlyQuest, so the revenge is immediate.
Yeah, Toots going to get a plate here in the mid lane, small victories, denying some farm as well. Anything you can get. As unfortunate this Yasuo, I don't know if it's ever going to be relevant in this game. Gets a flash, though, and that was, as you say, a well-timed one. But you can see, look at how much damage he takes on the attempt. It's crazy, and this has kind of been happening all game long.
This is on-hit Varus as well. That's not lethality damage. No. Did he take a turret shot? Maybe he took a turret shot. I'm not sure. That looked like he took a turret shot.
I don't know, but either way, the damage that came out from the Varus autos was what I was really looking at.
Yeah.
Which was a lot. And
do you know what the worst part is, Wolf? Furia, there is no one that can even go anywhere near the range of Masu right now. As far as on-hit Varus is concerned, no one gets to, do the do-si-do as far as the range advantage.
Look at Ego's items, or lack thereof. I don't think he wins a 1v1 against Masu right now. You know what I mean? There's not a whole lot of good angles in this game. And when you see a draft like this that's so all in, the game can end up this way. And Fury were very well aware of it when they made that choice, but they're unfortunately reaping the consequences of their choices now.
That was really cute by Jojo, actually managing to taxi his way out. Didn't have to use the flash, and by didn't have to, I mean he didn't have it. As now Tatu's going in as well. Lucio and Quad still in position, but it is just going to be half the health bar as these dark spheres are really starting to hurt.
They don't know where Inspired is, but they're about to find out. Ego is not going to like it.
He's going to go straight past the ward as Guigo is just dead, guys. There is no way that he's getting out of that one. There is a teleport in, but now it's Toots just kind of here watching them kill his turret. He's going to have to wait for Tatu to make his way up. First turret is going to be feats of strength over to FlyQuest as well. And they are just going from strength to strength.
They wanted to make that play to try to play around the turret and punish there, but the turret gets killed so quickly and they TP topside. Guess what? They also lose bottom turret because Syndra is pushing that in right now. Quad actually could TP to this fight, but is it really even a fight that he needs to come to? It's just slow, casually played here by FlyQuest because we slow this down, get the bottom turret. Quad can show up at any moment. Just play this slow, don't need to hard force anything. Just continue to snowball our lead. There's that bottom turret. Now Quad can back by and then TP in for the Herald contest. FlyQuest can really do nothing wrong at this point, as Gigo also has teleport, but I don't know how relevant this Aatrox is going to be in this skirmish. The window is closing, though, and I think FlyQuest may just simply have been a little bit too slow to show up on this one. So, again, small victory here, small pickup for Furia. It's going to be a lot of dominoes they're going to need to try to push over here to get back into this one, but baby steps, I suppose.
Indeed. 10 seconds until the next dragon, so that might have been what FlyQuest were aware of, wanting to make sure that they can get some priority on that area. That is exactly what it looks like. But Bounty Gold, actually kind of a big deal here for Furia to try and get themselves back in. When we say things like Bounty Gold, though, that shows that it is certainly an added layer of cope, because it is 4,000 gold the lead at 16.5 minutes. That is nothing to scoff at. They will be able to take an uncontested dragon here towards the bottom side of the map. Tatu wants nothing to do with it. He's just going to take himself back to base. Still holding on to the Rift Herald. We'll see where Shelly does pop down.
Ocean Drake here for the soul. It's not the craziest for either of these teams, but will be significant for the leader in FlyQuest.
I think a really lucky one for Furia as well, because they don't really care too much about that. They're a wombo combo composition, right? They have to kill you instantly, so a bit of sustain shouldn't be the end of the world.
It's kind of problematic with a Trundle and a Renekton this big, though, when you're trying to kill them fast, I suppose.
Yeah, that is a good point.
But yeah, I mean, it certainly could be worse. It could be a Hextech, in this scenario where you're already super far behind with this low-range composition that is just going to get slowed and struggle to close the gap. And I feel like this is a composition here for Furia that went wrong that doesn't really sell how good this team is, how well this team has played internationally so far this year. And it's a sad ending. It's got to be crushing for the players to go out like this. Down 7 kills, down 5,000 gold nearly. Or 4,000 at this point. They did bring it back a little bit, and we're down 5K earlier. To be in a position like this where the rest of the world is watching, and perhaps not even necessarily understanding why this comp can't function anymore. They just don't have any windows, man. It's one of those games that's tough as a commentator as well to try to find what could be the angle, what could be the way back in. It just feels like checkmate was reached long ago.
Yeah, it does certainly feel like that. And there is certainly angles, but it relies on FlyQuest making a mistake, overextending, giving away shutdowns. Like killing
some crazy Orianna combo.
Yeah, killing Inspired could be a big deal, right? Like he's got the biggest bounty on his head right now. So that could be an opportunity, but yeah, like you were saying, I'm also just clutching at straws here. It's not looking too easy for Furia to find that angle.
And FlyQuest also just, the way they're playing this is incredibly respectful, right? They've made a lot of great choices. I mean, maybe Blippo's decision on the top lane earlier was not as respectful as it could have been, but otherwise just not giving Furia any ins. They're like, well, if we just play this slow and carefully, it's literally unlosable. We're not going to take any risks. We're not going to play greedy. We're not going to showboat. We're just going to control the map, set up deep vision, and sit back and wait for objectives to spawn. Take those, take the win, and take our spot in the knockout stage.
Yep. And this is one of those compositions that can do it so many different ways as well. It's a very flexible draft, and against what they're against, they have like range advantage, infinity. You were talking about Blippo giving away opportunities. That wasn't quite it, but he was pretty extended, but still able to slice his way out. No flash required. Okay, 2.5 minutes until the dragon, even though we are heading, looking down that way. And the Archon going to be spawning on the top side of the map.
Yeah, it's tough to imagine how IU can break through in this team fight. Like, he has a Kraken Slayer.
He has a gold lead. Look at that.
Yeah, he does. The thing about the Kraken Slayer in this situation is it's going to require you to proc the Kraken Slayer by attacking people multiple times. I'm just not sure if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's the wrong build or anything like that. It's just the circumstances are so rough here, and you're still trying to stick to your game plan. But I do think at any point, once these waves are cleared out, FlyQuest can threaten Otacon start and go for a turn so easily, especially with the Syndra. And Quad does have TP, and he has side lane control because he has such a massive lead over this Aatrox that is sitting on still just one item.
It's looking dire. 82 stacks on Quad as well.
And here's that Otacon start.
Up. And yeah, there is vision. And I don't know whether FlyQuest really care too much about them being able to see. They're just trying to bait them into a fight as Blippo's already ulted.
And in this interim, while they slow down and control this Tribrush and force controllers to be used, they're going to get mid-turret. Masu's going to take that out, and this is that slow, controlled, great macro here from FlyQuest where they force Furia to come over and contest Otacon, and then they just grab turret, and then they can collapse back in. And, I mean, this is going to be a sandwich here, potentially.
Yeah, you're already taking a third of his health bar there from a combo from Quad. As Furia, a bit of a desperation start like you were talking about, Wolf. There is the shockwave landing onto a couple as Busio still not taken down, able to get out Scat of the Week onto the entire team, it feels like. And Masu is just free hitting wherever he wants to go. That's a very hungry Crocodile as he takes down the Yasuo, and Guigo is just limping his way out. It looks like the consolation, or at least the prize of the Otacon will go over to Fly without any more contest.
That is going to be such a huge win for them. Already, a massive lead in Petals, and the XP is going to flow. And from here, I mean, everybody gets an extra level. You're looking at a 3-level lead in the top lane. And a full item lead.
3.3k gold.
Yeah. That Cosmic Drive is done here. Obviously, feats of strength. Like, how many more advantages can I read off here for FlyQuest?
Well, they now have Otacon, so they've probably got more Petals as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm getting at here, is that just pushes everything here. Busio is the initial target, but the scatter on the turn here from Quad is amazing against this low-range composition. Gets the 4-man here. The Pillar also just locking JoJo in, and they just chase them down and slice them to pieces. Not a chance, not a prayer for the Brazilian squad.
It was a decent little sidestep on that piercing arrow that allowed Guigo to at least get out with his life. But it's 11-1, guys. It's 7,000 gold lead. And FlyQuest seem to be able to do no wrong at this point in time. That'll be Soul Point as Inspired looks to take down this dragon. And maybe a good thing here for Furia is the fact that this is only Soul Point, because it was a very late first Drake. So here at 22.5 minutes, they don't have to worry about a soul just yet. But man, that is not even a silver lining. That is like a gray that looks a bit shiny in certain lighting lining. That's what it kind of feels like.
There's a lot of lessons to be learned, I think, in this game about how FlyQuest played from ahead. Because, we talked about so much, like, if they make a mistake, if they overextend, if they're sloppy, if they're greedy, maybe there's a way back in. This is about as textbook, choke out the enemy, take all vision away, blind them, and cut them, kill them with 1,000 cuts rather than just all-inning and being like, oh, we're so massively ahead, we just push in between these turrets and look for a crazy team fight. That FlyQuest are playing. I mean, it's not the most quick and exciting way to end the game, but it is certainly the highest chance of success with a lead like this, and I think they've nearly reached 100%.
Yeah.
As they just won't give Furia any outs, any core. Look at where Toots is on the top side. He's the only one who's free to even move on the map, but even he knows once he hits that midway point, once he hits the river, he's like, that's as far as I can go. I can't touch that turret. There's no way I'm getting a bounty.
You're
and to breathe is so hard.
You're never allowed to take your own jungle camps, right?
Never.
So slowly but surely, FlyQuest will just get further and further ahead, no matter what Furia do, if the game stays in a position like this. And so their only option is to go for a desperation fight, which is always going to be on FlyQuest terms, as Tatsu is looking for that little flank angle. Scat of the Week comes through. Are you not going to be able to follow up too much as Chains of Corruption comes on in? Tatsu takes half of his health bar just from that piercing arrow, rocking the Blight.
If Furia commit to a fight, they will get wiped and the game will end. So they have to just try to buy time. Desperately, that is all they can do. And with the Orianna wave clear, I mean, you can see here they can buy some of it, right? Like, they have some tools here to slow this game down. Baron's going to spawn in 30 seconds here, though, and that's when things get really problematic. That's when FlyQuest really start to threaten inhibitors. They've already gotten some damage onto that bottom inhibitor turret. The inner is already gone there. They have super clear, deep vision on the bottom side of the map, and they can just simply turn their eyes towards the Baron with these resets coming through here. You see Quad is back, Masu is back, Bwipo is buying here. And he's going to have a GA potentially after the next fight if he's able to get a few kills. And, I mean, at this stage, as Furia, you're like, what if they group bottom and just take out our inhibitor? We have to be aware of that possibility. We have no vision. Look at how carefully Tatu has to surf around the top part of his jungle. He's like, okay, I guess I can get wolves maybe when those are up. But I can't really go any further than that. And FlyQuest, at any point, can just move towards Baron, but they're keeping their options open.
And on top of that, Inspired is about to finish a Thornmail, I'm pretty sure. Then who kills him? Because Toots is just not doing any damage right now. There is nowhere near a Void Staff. or anything like that. This Orianna has been pretty far behind throughout this game, but also Orianna, I feel like, needs a little bit of help, needs a little bit of acceleration to really be dangerous. And then the rest of the team is just physical damage. And yes, you can say that Yasuo takes 45% of your armor or something like that, but 45% of Infinity is still really large. So Bwipo now going to be fighting against Guigo here towards this bottom side as Inspired, just waiting for his angle of attack. And now there are 3 people here. He's chasing after this Yasuo. The last breath comes in, and it's exactly that, ladies and gentlemen. There's the Pulverize. It is going to connect as Bwipo finally will go down. It's a 1-for-1, so I guess that's good for Furia because the ones on the side of FlyQuest are way more dangerous, but not anymore. The piercing arrow coming down. The Pulverize is there to protect Toots, but now he has to get out. And this turret should be following suit.
Yeah, a very strong fight here for FlyQuest, despite it being an even trade. They got rid of one of the threats. And this is a risky call here. I'm not sure if this is going to work out for Toots, but he's going for it.
We're going to try and take down Busio. That didn't quite work out there, but the rest of the team are now in position. A possible flank angle. There are some CDs that have been used up, and Busio will be the one to fall down first. They're still trying to chase this one out. The dissonance will be able to help Toots catch up. And Scat of the Week coming on down. Guigo dealing with these orbs coming on through, but he seems to be able to do so. Is now Inspired in a fair bit of trouble. The King's Tribute not helping out at all because no one died on the side of Furia. And here are some shutdowns.
TP.
Scat of the Week didn't land because they ain't weak anymore, unless Bwipo has something to say about it. Cull the Meek coming on forward there as Jojo will be going down. That is a dangerous spear, and that is a second one. The slices and dices are coming on in. He's put into the bouncy castle, but that is a double kill now for Quad, really asserting his orb dominance on the Orianna.
IU's going to get a mid turret here, which is bounty gold as well. You know how we talked about, or I was really talking about textbook how to play perfectly and increase. They kind of got bored of that.
Yeah,
they were kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this a little bit. So they could have just done Baron. As Quad is also extending quite heavily into enemy territory here. He's got Bwipo with him, but now we're looking at, you know, a situation here where it's still really bad for Furia, but I think this was best case scenario. They defended their inhibitor. The teleport play was extremely greedy and could have actually cost them. The game would have ended if that failed, but they were able to pull it off. They were able to execute on it well. Ocean Soul is going over here to FlyQuest, but it could have been a Baron and a Baron turn here, but they got a little bit eager there on that bottom side. And Bwipo is so incredibly strong, I can understand the idea behind it. He actually built Death Dance instead of that GA I was talking about, so in these types of fights, he is nigh unkillable. But you can see this flank here really does pay off. And, you know, with the pillar attempt here from Inspired, you could buy some space, but they're just not quite able to get away. Toots has the speed up, of course, with that ball. Is going to be able to run them down. Bwipo then decides to TP in here and commit to the play further. He's so big at this point that taking him down is incredibly difficult. He doesn't have Ocean Soul yet in this fight. They get it afterwards. If he had it in this one, he might just end the game.
And they did a decent job, interrupting the slide and things like that, as we are straight into the action here, as Tatu not going to get stunned up by the Scat of the Week, but that pillar placement was just obscene from Inspired. Down goes the Xin Zhao, and now no one's going to be able to get anything done. And of course, the wallets are just that little bit too heavy on FlyQuest's side. No chance here for Furia in a straight up 5v5 without the turrets helping out, without that positioning that they had the last time around. And without Guigo now, that will allow this front door to be opened and FlyQuest to just knock it down.
That should be the end of this one. There was one heroic defense, one moment there for Furia at the end, but with a draft like this, the all-in attempt fails, and FlyQuest will soar into the knockout stage.
Really good to see the bounce back here from FlyQuest. It was a difficult day yesterday. This time around, though, making it look not even close in any regard. Wolf?
Yeah, not really, and I think the draft just left the options for Furia so limited with an early game like what we saw, but they were brave enough to pull it out. It was cool. Everybody loves to see Yasuo. Everyone loves to see a Yasuo bottom lane.
Yeah.
It definitely kept it interesting for the fans. It was a unique draft, but FlyQuest, the massive favorites coming into this one, and they will stand tall.
Certainly will. Taking a bow here, now get to think about the knockout stage. But before that, they get to do some key crushing, Wolf. And this is the first time that we have been on the broadcast ready to send you to a key crush, and I'm really excited about it. Certainly was the best part of last year as well, and already we've seen quite a few of them bite the dust. You can see Fancy collecting the key crusher himself.
I think Furia is a stronger team than what this final best of one really showcased. I think hindered by the game state in their draft in this one, but have had some pretty strong performances here across 2025. And their year is not over yet, but their EWC is. Perhaps we'll see them return next year to try to compete to make that top 8. But I do think we got to give this squad a shout out for some cool drafting, a lot of confidence, and I think performing higher than a lot of people's expectations across 2 recent international events.
I do want to say as well that, like, Whippo's bounce back here as far as his performance yesterday on the Renekton to now. Like, he did, what, 40% of the team's damage on a Crocodile? That was pretty impressive. He did certainly get himself off to a great start, but man, must feel good to bounce back. But now it is time to throw it over to Fancy with Masu alongside to crush some keys.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. We are back on the stage after FlyQuest flying to the quarterfinals and a few games away from earning this trophy. I have Masu with me, but before we start with the interview, I just want to say congratulations. You are the first ever Middle Eastern player that goes into the quarterfinals in EWC League of Legends history. Very, very happy for this moment. Just want to know, how does it feel to win at your home region?
It feels pretty good, of course. I don't know if there's any other Middle Eastern players right now that are here, so it feels good.
All right, so you guys lost to G2 at yesterday's match, but there's a chance that you might face them in the semifinals if you win against Gen G. So do you think you guys got it?
I mean, of course, if we're beating Gen G, I think we'll have a good chance to beat G2. But overall, I think individually, I have not been playing well. And as a team, I think we're also not playing that well. So I think we have a lot of time to ramp up. And then if we play up to our level, I think we'll be able to.
Absolutely. You guys have a tough road ahead to get to this trophy. But now that you've won an elimination match, you get to crush this key. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. So we're moving to the key crusher to crush a key at EWC. As we know, this is what EWC is all about. As soon as you win an elimination match, you get to crush the key yourself. Masu, I'll let you enjoy this moment.